Well, hello and welcome to part one of my Christmas in St Ives reread. I'm going to be reading my Christmassy novella, Christmas in St Ives. It's actually a prequel to my novel Somewhere Beyond the Sea, but it's not necessary for you to have read that book to enjoy this story. I'm going to be reading you a chapter at a time. I hope that you enjoy it. So Christmas in St Ives by Miranda Dickinson, dedicated to Bob and Flo, who love St Ives and make every Christmas magical. Chapter 1. Cerrie. 30 pairs of eyes blink up at me. Little chests hold little breaths. And for a rare moment, my classroom falls silent. Even the silver foil snowflakes suspended on a string from the ceiling seem to freeze in time. The paper I hold in my hands is about to make history in each young life. I feel a wash of butterflies in my stomach too because I love this part of my job. Other teachers shirk the responsibility, which is why I'm in charge of the school Christmas play for the 6th year running, but it's one of my all-time favourite things. Okay, class 4, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Our Christmas play this year is called Jim Bob and the Little Star, and I've written you all a special part in it. A huge gasp ripples around my cross-legged class. 7-year-olds rock. Adults would be already comparing lines, moaning about people chosen for the main roles or criticising the script I spent hours writing. Not my kids. Class 4 at St Piran's Primary School are as delighted as a gaggle of Oscar winners, and I adore them for it. I need magic this year. It's bad enough when someone cheats on you, but when that someone is also the deputy head at your school and everyone knows what happened to split you up, it's the worst. At least working in the Christmas play with my class of little superstars, I can avoid David for a while. Another reason why 7-year-olds rock. They don't care what's happened in your life. They just love you, right here, right now. There's a lot to be said for living in the moment like they do. Miss Austin, can I have wings if I'm an angel? Florence Mateless asks, her eyes wide. Yes, you can. All my angels will have tinsel wings. Mrs. Copper from class 2 is going to make them for everyone. Another gasp passes through my class. If only everything in life could be simply solved by tinsel wings. When the home time bell rings, I wave off my newly cast angels, shepherds, stars and kings and begin to upend chairs on tables, clearing my classroom before the weekend begins. I like this moment of calm, still buzzing from the plans I've shared with the children. Today, it's also a delaying tactic. Gloria Masters has called a staff meeting for 4 p.m. and I'm dreading it. School staff rooms can be intimidating places at the best of times, but when they're filled with your colleagues who will be watching you and your ex like hawks, they are worse than a pit of lions. Being a village school, gossip is the main currency here. I'll admit to being guilty of indulging it in the past. It's fun to be part of when you're not the focus. Now I feel like a gnat under a giant microscope. David has avoided me all week. But we can't escape each other in a tiny room with 10 other people breathing down our necks. It's the moment I've been dreading and there's no escape. I'm just wondering if I can slip out of school unnoticed when a friendly face beams at me around the blue classroom divider. Ready for the big event? Jo Lovage's smile is warm and welcome, but I can see concern in her eyes. Not really. Think I could get away with faking a migraine? Possibly, except you're cursed with being the healthiest person I know. I don't think Gloria would buy it. Well, it was worth a try. Rats. What are the odds of me being abducted by aliens in the next 5 minutes, do you reckon? Slim. Come on, lovely. She gathers me into a comradely hug. Better to get it over with and out of the way. The others will lose interest once they've ogled you and David together for the first time. I don't believe her. I've seen these things last for months. Remind me again how long you've worked here? She shrugs. Okay, so maybe you'll be the resident floor show for a while. It'll pass, it always does. My many years working here have taught me that, at least. Listen, Cerrie, once he finds a job somewhere else, this won't be an issue. David Myers might be an idiot, but he's an annoyingly talented one. He'll be off to a swanky headmaster's position quicker than you think. She has a point. David has always had a 5-year career plan, which he's so far been able to follow to the letter. I wonder if cheating on me was part of it, or just an added extra to amuse himself. I catch myself in time, going over and over the reasons why David threw away our relationship won't give me answers. It doesn't make sense, only to him. And if I'm really honest, I don't want to know why the other woman was so much more attractive a prospect than me. Some things are better not known. I hope you're right. I hate having to work with him. Jo chuckles as she holds open the door for me and we walk across the hall that still smells of school dinners hours after lunch. Hang in there, sweetheart. It'll all come out in the wash, as my mum used to say. It's just going to be toe-curlingly embarrassing until then, that's all. Usually, I love my friend's directness, but this afternoon I wish it wasn't quite so accurate. It stinks, Jo. Yes, it does, but it could be worse. The staff room is in sight through the next set of doors. I can already see several of my colleagues hovering around the small kitchen area. My stomach lurches. How exactly? Jo gives me a wink as we reach the double doors. You could still be with him, not knowing he was shagging that supply teacher. It isn't much of a comfort, but I'll take it. As soon as we walk into the staff room, I see it, that look, mirrored around the room. It's not pity, more overblown sympathy, but it still makes me feel like shrinking small enough to escape under the cracked edge of the carpet tiles. I smile back, wishing the staff room hadn't fallen quite so silent. My stomach rumbles and it sounds like thunder. Cerrie, I saved you a seat, Amy Frederick yells, patting the chair next to her. I feel Jo bristle by my side. Great, now my colleagues are fighting over who chaperones me for this spectacle. I'll get us a chair, Jo hisses through gritted teeth, smiling too sweetly at Amy as she passes. Staff room politics are exhausting sometimes, like the fact that David isn't here yet. Of course he isn't. He's always been a fan of the limelight, and even today, in not so flattering circumstances, he isn't likely to pass up the chance for a grand entrance. I turn to the sink in the corner of the room and find my mug and Jo's from the neat lines on the draining board. The hot water urn is unoccupied, thank goodness. Someone has draped a length of gold tinsel around the top of it, and each of the sparkly strands is beaded with drops of condensation from the steam. I busy myself with making tea, grateful for the chance to turn my back on the room. It's a brief respite, and I relax a little as the swell of conversation resumes around me. Even though everyone is waiting for the big Cerrie-David meet, I know I have the support of lots of people here, so I shouldn't be as nervous as I am. But the fact is, I never wanted to be the cause of a whose side are you on debate. I hate being asked to choose, so why would I ever ask anyone else to do it on my behalf? None of this is my fault. I have no reason to hide. I feel my back strengthen as I remind myself of this fact. Everybody in the room knows David cheated on me. I'm the innocent party. He can bluster and brag all he likes, but it was my heart that was broken, my dreams that were shattered. I can do this. It's just a staff meeting. And then, as I'm about to turn from the kitchen sink with the mugs of tea, I hear the room hush again. Before I look, I know why. Sorry I'm late, guys. Lots to do. Even the sound of his voice hurts. And I can feel all eyes on me as I turn around and walk straight over to Jo. I don't even look at my ex. I can't. Because despite all the lies he told and the careless way he stamped all over my heart, David still expects me to greet him. And everyone knows it. He doesn't seem to understand he lost any right to that the moment he chose her. So I set my face like Dartmoor granite and avoid his stare. He waits a moment longer than necessary after I sit before he continues. Now we're all here, let's make a start. Gloria's just taking a phone call, so she asked me to start the meeting without her. He shuffles the papers in his lap like a Hollywood actor trying to upstage his cast. I've known David Myers long enough to know the pages are mostly blank. A few lines scribbled on the top sheet in his large, generous handwriting, just there for effect, which is, as it turned out, much like a lot of him. Behind that could be lists going back months for all that any of us know. Lots to get through. First off, let's do a run round of what everyone's up to for Christmas at school. Jo tuts beside me and I know what's coming. Cerrie, how's the Christmas production coming? The room pulses with electricity as my colleagues lean forward as one. With every scrap of dignity I can summon, I raise my head and beam my brightest smile. I see the itch of irritation register in his eyes. Good. I cast the parts this morning, David. Gloria loves the scripts and the children are so excited. I'll be looking for volunteers to help paint the set in 2 weeks' time, so please pop your names on the sheet I've put up on the notice board today. The more the merrier. I'll even shout you pizza. This causes a favourable murmur to bubble up around me. I keep my stare straight and steady, meeting David's eyes. I am not bowing to you, I say to him in my head. This is who you decided to let go. So, good. He gives a cough and drops his gaze to his non-existent notes. I'm sure you'll have lots of offers. She will, Joe says, and I hear the muted sniggers of several people. He changes the subject with warp speed, careful to make eye contact with the few people in the room whom he counts as allies. That's fine, as far as I'm concerned. I've survived our first public interaction and I've held my own. He mumbles on about a few more agenda items while the other teachers cast me congratulatory smiles and I relax a little in my chair. Hi everyone, sorry. Gloria Masters appears at the door, her face a little flushed. I can see someone else just behind her, like a shadow that doesn't quite fit. I'm just waiting for our guest to arrive. She looks over her shoulder. Come in, they won't bite. Much, Joe says as my colleagues laugh. I glance at David. He looks rattled. I'm guessing Gloria didn't tell him this was happening. A man steps into the room and suddenly all my female colleagues are paying attention. He's tall, my guess is well over 6 feet, with waves of blonde hair that make him look like a surfer. His white shirt is smooth over muscles and tan skin, and he gives us a shy smile. It's Thor, Joe squeaks under her breath. Hey, he says, raising a hand. An enthusiastic chorus of hellos greets him in return. Everyone, this is Tom Keller. He's joining us as a full-time teacher from January, but his visa came through early, so he'll be looking after Evie's class while she goes on maternity leave. My heavily pregnant colleague shrugs in the corner. Trust me to be leaving just as it gets exciting. Tom grins, and I see the faintest hint of blush across his cheekbones. I reckon you're the one who'll be having the most fun. His accent is unmistakable. The lift of his end of his sentence is pure Australian sunshine. Definitely Thor, I whisper back to Joe, grateful that the attention isn't on me anymore, nor is it likely to be for the rest of term, given the sudden interest of my colleagues in the new recruit. The teachers shuffle up eagerly to make room for Gloria and Tom, David looking increasingly annoyed when the object of everyone's attention sits next to him. Gloria does a quick round-the-room introduction and Tom carefully repeats each name as we're introduced. Amy, hi. Eric, how you doing? Chloe, hey. Joe, good to meet you. And this is Kerry. Tom nods. Hi, Kerry. Kerry is our Christmas play producer. Tom has a music degree from Sydney University, so I thought he could take piano duties over from you, Kerry. Free you up to direct our actors. Excellent, that's settled. Funny, I don't remember agreeing. The introductions continue, and I feel David's eyes on me. I don't risk looking up. He knows how protective of the Christmas production I am, and he will have seen I'm annoyed before I can hide it. I can feel his sympathetic stare burning against my brow. No, David, this isn't how you sidle your way back into my life. I hunched down further, wishing I could disappear. So much for winning this encounter. So there you go, that is the end of chapter 1, and we've introduced you to Kerry, who's one of the 4 people that you'll hear from in the novella. If you've enjoyed it, it's 99p on Kindle at the moment if you want to read along with us. Christmas in St Ives is my Christmassy novella. I will be back to read you chapter 2 very soon. Thanks for listening.